Are we living in a simulation? Could everything around us, our memories, our experiences, our entire perception of reality, be part of an elaborate digital construction? This question, once confined to science fiction, has become one of the most fascinating and unsettling debates of our time. From philosophers to scientists, technologists to everyday people, millions wonder, what if the universe isn't as real as we think it is? But beyond the technology and the philosophy lies another critical question. Why are we so drawn to this idea? Why does the belief in simulation resonate so strongly with the human psyche? The psychology of belief, the reasons we latch on to certain theories, is as important as the theories themselves. To understand the simulation hypothesis, we must also understand ourselves. The simulation hypothesis suggests that what we perceive as reality might be an artificial construct, created by advanced beings or future versions of ourselves. The philosopher Nick Bostrom popularized this idea in the early 2000s with his famous paper arguing that one of three things must be true. Civilizations never reach the technological ability to create such simulations. They choose not to run them, or we are almost certainly living inside one already. Bostrom's logic rests on probability. If advanced civilizations can and do create vast numbers of simulations, then simulated realities would vastly outnumber base reality. Statistically, it would be more likely that we are in one of the simulations than in the original, but while the logic is compelling, the real intrigue comes from the human reaction to it. People don't just think of it as an abstract argument. They feel something when they hear it. Some feel dread, as though life has been stripped of meaning. Others feel awe, a sense that reality is even more mysterious than they imagined. Still others feel comfort, believing that if we are in a simulation, there may be a designer, a higher power, a purpose. The psychology of belief is at play here. The way we react to the simulation idea tells us about the way our minds grapple with uncertainty, control, and meaning. One reason the simulation theory resonates is our natural tendency to question reality. Humans are wired with what philosophers call skepticism, the doubt that our senses provide an accurate picture of the world. The Greek philosopher Plato imagined a group of people chained in a cave, mistaking shadows on the wall for reality. The French philosopher René Descartes suggested an evil demon could be deceiving us into thinking the world is real. The simulation hypothesis is a modern extension of these age-old doubts. And psychologically, humans are drawn to such ideas because they provide an intellectual escape from the limits of the everyday. Technology also shapes our imaginations. We live in an age of video games, virtual reality, artificial intelligence, and digital simulations that already blur the line between real and artificial. When we see how immersive virtual worlds have become in just a few decades, it is easy to imagine that an advanced civilization could create a reality indistinguishable from ours. Psychologically, people anchor their beliefs to what they know. Since we know games and simulations, it is natural for us to extend that metaphor to reality itself. The simulation idea also plays into humanity's deep desire for patterns. Our brains are pattern-seeking machines. We don't like randomness. We want explanations. Conspiracies, religions, myths, and philosophies all feed this need for order. The thought that life is a simulation provides a pattern, a framework that explains everything. It makes sense of coincidences, anomalies, and mysteries. Instead of being chaotic, the universe is suddenly ordered by code, rules, and perhaps even programmers. This is psychologically comforting because it restores a sense of predictability. But belief in simulations is not just about comfort. It also connects to existential anxiety. Humans live with the knowledge that we will die. we struggle with questions of purpose. Is life meaningful or meaningless? The simulation hypothesis offers a new twist on these timeless questions. If we are in a simulation, then our lives may still matter within the context of the program. Our choices may be monitored, recorded, or used for some higher purpose. The idea that life is part of a grand design, whether divine or digital, soothes the fear of insignificance. On the other hand, some find the simulation hypothesis terrifying. If reality is fake, then meaning is stripped away. If we are just code running on a machine, then love, art, suffering, and joy might all be illusions. Psychologically, this triggers nihilism, the belief that life has no intrinsic meaning. Yet even here, the human mind works to adapt. Some nihilists embrace freedom in the absence of meaning. Others create their own meaning despite uncertainty. This adaptability shows how resilient belief systems are. The psychology of belief also explains why the simulation idea appeals to different people for different reasons. For some, it is intellectual curiosity. For others, it is spiritual longing. For still others, it is a form of rebellion against mainstream science and religion. Believing in simulations allows people to feel that they are questioning authority, resisting dogma, and thinking outside the box. This taps into the human need for uniqueness, the desire to stand apart from the herd. Cognitive dissonance plays a role here as well. Cognitive dissonance is the discomfort we feel when reality does not align with our expectations. The world often feels unfair, chaotic, and unjust. Simulation belief can resolve this dissonance. If the world is unfair, it's because the simulation was designed that way. If things go wrong, it's part of the program. This explanation allows people to preserve a sense of order in the face of chaos. Confirmation bias also fuels the belief. Once someone entertains the possibility of a simulation, they begin to see signs everywhere. Glitches in video games remind them of glitches in real life. Coincidences feel like errors in the code. Déjà vu becomes evidence of repetition in the program. Every unexplained phenomenon becomes proof. This self-reinforcing loop makes belief hard to shake. It's not just about logic, it's about how the brain selectively interprets experience. There is also the allure of mystery. Humans love mysteries, stories about hidden truths, secret worlds, and veiled realities captivate us. The simulation hypothesis is the ultimate mystery. It suggests that the biggest secret of all is reality itself. For the human psyche, mysteries are not just entertaining, they are deeply rewarding. Solving them, or even speculating about them, provides a sense of mastery and wonder. From a social perspective, the simulation idea spreads because it is shareable. It sparks conversation, debate, and fascination. In an age of social media, ideas that provoke strong reactions spread quickly. The psychology of virality ensures that a provocative theory like simulations will capture attention, not just because of its content, but because of the emotions it triggers: fear, awe, curiosity, excitement. It also helps that prominent figures have endorsed the idea. Elon Musk famously said, "There is a high probability we live in a simulation." When authority figures lend credibility to a theory, people are more likely to believe it. This is known as the authority bias. Psychologically, humans defer to those they perceive as knowledgeable or powerful. So when scientists or technologists discuss simulations seriously, it signals to the public that the theory is worth considering. Cultural narratives also play a role. Movies like The Matrix, Inception, and Tron have embedded the simulation idea into popular imagination. Fiction often shapes belief because stories bypass rational skepticism and speak directly to emotions. The Matrix, in particular, created a vivid metaphor for questioning reality. Many people who believe in simulations describe life as feeling like the Matrix. Psychologically, fiction provides a language and imagery that makes abstract theories more relatable. Interestingly, the simulation idea also intersects with religion. Many religions suggest that the material world is not ultimate reality. Hinduism describes the world as Maya, illusion. Christianity and Islam speak of life as a test, watched by a higher power. The simulation hypothesis is, in many ways, a technological reinterpretation of these spiritual ideas. It appeals to those who crave spirituality but are skeptical of traditional religion. It allows them to believe in a higher order without invoking gods. This hybrid of science and spirituality satisfies multiple psychological needs. So why do people believe in simulations? Because the idea resonates with deep human instincts. The need for meaning, the fear of chaos, the allure of mystery, the desire for uniqueness, and the comfort of order. It is not just about logic, it is about psychology. But what if we ask a different question? What if belief in simulations tells us more about the human mind than about reality itself? The psychology of belief teaches us that humans construct narratives to navigate existence. Whether or not we live in a simulation, the fact that we imagine it reflects our yearning for explanations that fit our experience. It reflects our ability to project metaphors from technology onto life. It reflects our need to make sense of suffering, coincidence, and mystery. The simulation hypothesis may or may not be true, but our fascination with it is undeniably human. And perhaps that is the ultimate insight. If we are in a simulation, our beliefs are part of the program. If we are not, our beliefs are still part of our story as conscious beings. Either way, the psychology of belief shows us that what matters is not just whether reality is simulated, but how we make meaning of it. We are creatures of wonder. We look at the stars and ask, what is out there? We look at ourselves and ask, what is real? The simulation hypothesis is one of many ways we answer those questions. It is an answer shaped not only by logic, but by the deepest needs of the human psyche. So, are we living in a simulation? The truth may be unknowable, but the very act of asking reveals who we are. Beings who seek meaning, who crave understanding, who weave stories to make sense of existence. And in that search, simulation or not, we find the essence of being human.